Hey everybody, this is Natalie from Champion of Coins Tarot, and I'm here today to do a deck review of the Soul's Journey Lesson cards. It's by James Van Praagh and with artwork by Charlotte Backman, and this deck is absolutely amazing. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. I'm definitely biased towards it. I purchased it during Hay House's most recent $7 sale, where all Oracle decks and Tarot decks were $7 if you bought one, and or if you bought two, and then with free shipping on all orders. So I was really excited to pick this one up. It's one that honestly wasn't on my radar at the time, but I just kept coming back to it over and over on the website, and I'm really, really glad that I found it, because since I have received the deck in the mail, I have been using it every day, multiple times a day, and for multiple people around me, and I have absolutely been loving it so far. So before we get into the more personal aspects of the review, just some housekeeping things. Comes in a very sturdy Hay House box with that kind of gloss. The cardstock is pretty thick. It's typical Hay House. It's laminate, slightly glossy, and the edges are gilded. Now I do riffle shuffle my decks, so I don't know if you can see, but on the bottom left-hand corner right here, there has been some peeling where the gilding has come off. That isn't a big issue for me. I don't think it's very noticeable yet, but that is something to keep in mind, that with any gilded deck, but especially the Hay House ones, just to be careful because there are peeling issues. I have the Psychic Tarot for the Heart by John Holland, and I've experienced similar experiences with that stock. Also, when you receive the cards in the mail and you're taking them out of the shrink wrap for the first time, there is a tendency for them to stick together, so you want to pull them apart very, very slowly to prevent any tears or any smudges from happening on the cards. It comes with a little guidebook here. It's about 105 pages overall, including advertisements, including information about the author and the artist. Just a bit about James Van Praagh. It says here that he has been working as a spirit worker for the past 30 years. He has appeared on Oprah, Larry King Live, Dr. Phil, and Coast to Coast. And he's actually the creator and producer of The Ghost Whisperer, starring Jennifer Love Hewitt. So that's just a little bit about him. And then the artist, Charlotte Backman, she paints mandalas, and she uses traditional forms with modern colors and materials. And I believe all of her work is hand-drawn using physical materials, so it's not digital artwork. It is entirely hand-drawn, which I know a lot of people are drawn to nowadays. She also has her own website where you can purchase prints and you can look at more of her artwork if you are so interested after this review. And I will definitely be including that link below. It's mandalavisions.com. The way that the guidebook is set up is you have a very few, about a 12-page introduction to using the cards, to using the system, and then it goes on into different interpretations of each card that Mr. Van Praagh has provided. Is it Van Praagh or Van Praagh? I think I've used both of those interchangeably so far, so if anybody knows, feel free to correct me. I didn't mean to butcher the poor man's name. But I quite like the way that the guidebook is written. I think that the information about each card, it's not overly complex. It's very digestible, is what I would like to say, and it is very resonant. In typical Hay House fashion, there are steps to cleanse the cards, to consecrate the cards with different prayers, getting to know the deck, how to shuffle, and then it includes a 1-card spread, a 3-card spread, which is typical past, present, future, and then a 7-card multi-spread. So there would be 3 oracle cards at the bottom representing current energies and current lessons that are being learned. there would be one card above that that represents the bridge, what needs to be synthesized, what ultimate lesson has to be learned in order to transition out of that phase. And then the top 3 cards on top of that would be the results of that change or future influences that are going to be coming into play. And I've used that spread before, and I really recommend it. It's a really lovely and really just a very beautiful reflective spread. I've noticed that when I read with it, the parallels that come up in each spread position are astounding, and oftentimes they directly correlate between positions. So you'll have the card on the left side perfectly mirrors the card in the future position on that side as well, or even diagonally. It's really wonderful, and I quite enjoy it a lot. Now, the reason why I love this deck so much and why I was so completely taken away with it as soon as I received it was because these cards are not fluffy at all. There is an equal mixture of positive cards or keywords that have positive associations with them and more negative ones or more confronting ones. So for example, here we have indecision. We have a mandala that has much darker colors. There's a spiral, there's roots, there's tendrils reaching out and pulling in different directions in the center. So it's very, very evocative. And then every single card includes a mantra to reflect on in meditation or in journaling with the deck. So for indecision, I use my intuition in all aspects of my life. And I have to say, I have really, really loved working both with the keywords and with the mantras for each card. I think the mantras, especially on the negative cards, are absolutely fantastic because they help me to reframe certain issues in my life. They help me to take a step back and to take a much more objective look at the way that I'm behaving. And it helps to really empower the reader, and it helps to put the control back into their hands. So I don't know if I'm going to show all of the cards yet. I think I'm just going to keep talking. Hopefully the video will flip properly. If not, let me know. And these cards, they do show fingerprints, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to wipe this off later. But we have cards such as honesty, abundance, love. And one thing that I love about this deck and that I've been looking for such a long time is I feel like a lot of oracles are overly vague or overly simplistic in my experience. And simplistic, not in regards to the artwork. See, grief. Grief. That is very, very powerful. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. But anyways, I feel like a lot of oracles, they tend to simplify themselves down to just being affirmation decks. And it's difficult for me personally to be able to see past that in a reading and to access deeper depths of information. And I find that with this deck, it speaks volumes in just one card for me. I love being able to use the keyword association. I love that the focus is on the emotion. It's a very visceral deck. It's deceptively simple, and it is incredibly honest, and it is incredibly confronting. As you can tell by the cards that I keep pulling from this deck. But it's absolutely beautiful. And I must say, the emphasis on darker cards or traditional like negative keywords is not a hindrance to using this deck at all, because it has the most fantastic and wonderful sense of humor. Like I said, I enjoy pulling multiple cards throughout the day. So far I've done one main theme card for the day. And then if I'm studying, if I'm working, if I just need to ground and come back to center, I will reach for this deck, I'll shuffle, pull out a card, and it'll oftentimes just be commentary on something that I have just done or something that somebody has just said to me in conversation. And that's really fun. I really enjoy reading with this deck, not only just for other people, but just having it around other people, because it really is the life of the party. For example, I was in a study session yesterday with my best friend, and we were joking about like, oh, you know, she had this project that was due the next day, and we're like, oh, we're spending more time talking about tarot than we are talking about the project that you're supposed to be doing and the need to focus. And all of a sudden the card acceptance just flew out of the deck, and it was like joking, like, oh, you need to just accept your fate, just accept that you're not going to get any studying done around Natalie. And that was really fun. I also have a friend who he is a huge skeptic, and he'd never heard of tarot or oracle cards before, and so we often get into really interesting debates with one another. And oftentimes the fear card or the doubt card will come up for him, especially if we are talking and I happen to be shuffling at the same time. I swear I don't intentionally mean to do it, but like that's just the kind of snark that the deck has. It calls it as it sees it, and it doesn't hold any punches, and it's just really, really relatable and really refreshing. And I think one thing that I really appreciate for me personally is that this summer I spent a lot of time with a lot of heavier decks, so such as the Marielle, the Japri. It isn't necessarily a heavy deck for me, but it's a deck that I have really been studying very intensely and taking a lot of notes with. Same thing with the Hardy Tarot, and it felt good to just step back this week and to just roll with pure intuition, just with pure first impressions, and to get that kind of knowledge and to get that kind of wisdom completely unfiltered. This deck is also amazing to use in spreads with others, both Oracle and Tarot. This one has been coming up for me a lot. It's very concerned with the holistic person. There isn't one particular kind of reading that it is better at than any other. There is no subject that's taboo with this deck. It really cuts to the core, and it delivers information and it delivers advice as simply and as wisely as possible. Adversity is really lovely. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. Perseverance. Envy. Trust, which is the cover artwork for this deck and its promotional images. And self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. So again, it is part affirmation deck, part shadow work. It's absolutely incredible. It's incredibly diverse. And I am so thrilled to have it. And usually I wouldn't make a review video on a deck that I had received so quickly, because I like to spend a lot of time, sometimes months, sometimes even years, getting to know decks before I feel comfortable sharing them on the channel. But this deck has completely surpassed any and all expectations that I've had of it. It's better than I could have possibly dreamed of, that I could have possibly anticipated, and it's one that I am highly, highly recommending to everybody who asks me about it. It is incredible, and it's one that is going to be part of my daily ritual, that is going to be part of my daily life and my daily readings indefinitely. I have completely fallen just heart and soul for it, like hook, line, and sinker. I am completely over the moon, and I would love to hear about your experiences with this deck. I would love to hear what kind of energy you get off of it, or if you might even have some funny encounters that have happened between you and it. I can't get enough, and I hope that this is one that other people resonate with as well. So that's my review of the Soul's Journey lesson cards. Thank you very much for watching, and I would love to talk with you down below. I'm sending you much love and much light. Bye!